Hey everybody, it's Justin here. I just finished up week 18 of 52 Kinds of Love, and I'm going to let you know how it went. So week 18 was dedicated to my buddy Cam, Matt, so Cam is his nickname. And there's a beard on there, as you'll see in a second, because Cam has a ridiculous and awesome beard. I'm very fond of beards myself. So I got to first introduce how I met Matt, and let me try to go through as quick as possible. I was out one night, I was with some buddies, I happened to see a random friend. Matt happened to be standing nearby, and I was like, oh, this must be my friend's friend. Started chatting, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this poem a day thing, and I gotta write a poem by midnight. Can you give me like 3 words? Because it's like 11:50. So he gave me 3 words, I wrote a poem, I posted it to my blog in like 10 minutes. Then we started talking about like poetry and deeper kind of connections, and we were just really getting at like the root of who we were as people. And I was like, oh, so how do you know Ashley? He's like, oh, she's a barista at the Root Cafe. How do you know her? I was like, oh, she's my friend. It's like, oh, that's cool that you're making friends with the barista and then you go hang out with them, you know? He's like, oh, no, I just randomly saw her here. I was like, well, who are you with? And he's like, oh, I just kind of saw her and then you and kind of thought everybody was together. I was like, I kind of thought the same thing. So we built this whole connection where really nobody was introduced or had invited anyone else, and it just happened to be this moment that I needed something. I needed 3 words, and Cam was the person to give me 3 words. So a few weeks later, he invited me out to a pig roast, and I met some good friends and family of his, and we've been great friends ever since. I think we just are kind of on the same level in terms of our souls. It's just been a really awesome friendship. So between him working some 14, 15-hour days and me being a teacher, we found a way to make our schedules work for the week. Early in the week, we went to lunch. I treated him to lunch, and the day before, I had been asking him, oh, I'm buying some of my students some candy for class. What are your favorite kinds of candy? What would kids like? And he didn't know, but I was really just buying some candy for him. So I bought some dark chocolate Reese's, which I had never even heard of. Bought some Sour Patch Kids, which were Cam's favorite. And I bought some turtles, some chocolate caramel turtles, which I love and he had never had. So hope he enjoyed those this week. So with everything else going on, I was trying to organize the Olmsted Spirit 5K. My first time trying to organize a race. I was like, man, I'm sorry that I feel like I'm half dedicating the week to you and half dedicating to the race. This is life, and this is life, really, what you have to deal with, what you have to go through, and how you have to plan and prioritize. And so I just thought about Cam a lot this week and what it's like to work a really long job and to be on the path to where you know you want to be, but not quite exactly there. I thought about what it's like to be a father, as Cam has a kid who's turning 1 pretty soon, and so I thought a lot about that and how you have to balance your life out, and that's kind of how my week went. And sometimes you just got to do the stuff that you don't exactly want to do, but you have to make time for the things that make you happy and for the things that are important in your life, and I feel like we're both kind of balancing those things out in our lives. Later through the week, I wore my favorite beard shirt, thinking of Cam, just making sure he was always on my mind this week. And as this race came up on Sunday, I had gotten a call from Cam saying, hey, you know what, man, I would love to volunteer to help out. And I thought that was really cool that 52 Kinds of Love was not just from me outwards, but from other people returning that favor. And it's a beautiful exchange and sharing of love, which is how our world should work. So Cam came out and volunteered for like 3 hours. It was crazy, but he was like my right-hand man, like, someone that's solid I could trust, who was doing the crazy busy part of registration day and people running up and signing up on the day of the race. And afterwards I called him, I was like, man, we need to celebrate. So we went to Lake Erie, we went to Edgewater Park, I grabbed some beers, we brought our beards, and so we had a beer, beards, and bros day. He brought his son, Zen, who's an adorable little man, and we just hung out by the lake with the dog and just enjoyed Lake Erie and Cleveland and each other. And then we took a walk back to his house. First time I had seen his new house, and he has some chickens in the backyard, which is pretty neat. So hung out with the chickens a little bit and played with Lil Zen, and yeah, it was really cool to experience the balance that is required for being a father. Even literally just in drinking a beer and holding a baby. Not the most responsible thing to do, but it was kind of neat. Just the fascination of a little child, and by shiny objects or bracelets that they see, or glass. There was a bottle, the glass bottle, and just being fascinated by the light that reflected off of it. It was cool to be in the eyes of the wonder of a little kid, and yeah, I was really excited to spend this week with Cam, even if the time wasn't a lot. Just being on my mind was very important, and I know that this has created kind of a new foundation now that he's kind of got all the baby stuff out of the way for that first year, and we can really start getting back into diving deep into creating a great friendship. So I was really excited about this week, and glad that he volunteered and showed his love in return. So appreciate it, Cam. Heading into week 19 next week will be dedicated to Nicole. So check out next week to figure out who Nicole is, why there's the state of California there, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Peace. 52 kinds of love.